Welcome to the first video about the 2024 season, but let's start off by talking about 2023. There were little to no driver transfers, but at the end of 2024, there's 14 drivers out of contract. So what driver changes can we see throughout the season, maybe at the end of the season? Could we see Mazepin, Latifi back in the sport? Who wouldn't want that to happen? More entertainment, more crashes? Always fun. As long as they're okay, that is. Comment down below your predictions, hit the like button, subscribe. With that out of the way, enjoy your day. We're going to start off with Haas. Haas is going to change a bit, I think. My opinion. I think Magnussen's pole in 22 Brazil won't carry him another season. 2023 might have carried him. 2024 also. But 2025, that's where I think things are going to change. I think Ollie Behrman's going to take his seat. In Formula 3 in 2022, he was just 7 points off the championship. In 2023 F2, he was incredible for a rookie. The first person ever to top every session in Baku. And now going into 2024, he's one of the favorites to win. So I think Ollie's going to take Kevin's seat. But I still think that Hulkenberg's going to manage to retain his seat. His quali pace was crazy, but the car let him down in the races. He's a reliable set of hands, which we know Haas likes. And Ollie Behrman might be a risk. But with his connections with Ferrari, with Sainz potentially maybe going to Audi in 2026, who knows? God damn, I'd love to see Behrman in a Ferrari. For Red Bull, I've gone with Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. Now, there's no surprise Max Verstappen's going to stay. He's incredible and has been for the last God knows how many seasons. But Daniel Ricciardo, I think he's going to take Perez's seat. Maybe mid-season even. Mid-season of 24. But for 25, I definitely think he's going to have his seat. As long as he batters Yuki, and Perez still has some troubles. And Verstappen, is there really anything to say? He's not going anywhere. But where is Perez going to go? Well, just wait. Next up, we have Aston Martin, and I think that Felipe Drugovich is going to take Alonso's seat. And, well, obviously Stroll's still going to be there. His father owns the team, for goodness sake. Felipe won F2 in 2022 and has been a reserve driver for the last couple years. And I think it's finally his time to get a shot in F1. But where's Alonso going to go? I think he's going to retire. He's approaching his mid-40s, and if he doesn't get a competitive car at the start of 2024, I think he's going to decide to hang up his boots on his own, again, for the second time. If he can't fight for another championship, then I don't think he sees the point of being in the sport. Maybe like Kimi Räikkönen, it's a hobby for him. I just think he wants another championship. And if Aston Martin can't provide him with a car like that, what's the point? And Lance Stroll, I mean, his dad owns the team. I know there are some rumors of him selling the team, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Lance Stroll's probably going to be driving until he's 60 and 10 seconds off the pace. But he did have some good races in 2023. Let's not deny that. The start of the season when he had a broken hand or something along those lines, it was good. And at the end of the season, he kind of shone again. Just the mid-season. It was a bit rocky. He needs to be more consistent. ASAP. Get it? ASAP Rocky? Ha 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 ha. Now for Williams, I've gone with Alex Albon and Antonelli. Alex Albon has a dream to be a world champion with Williams. Ooh, and I want that to happen. Big Williams supporter, big Albon supporter. And I think he's going to stay as long as Williams keep progressing. P7 in 2023, 2024, P6, and so on and so forth. He had a great season and Williams, they want him. But does Alex Albon want them? I think he will for the next couple seasons, and if things aren't gelling or improving, then he might leave. But Antonelli, one of the most hyped up rookies since Max Verstappen, he won pretty much everything there is to win in the junior categories. He skipped Formula 3 and he's onto Formula 2. He's going to be racing with Prema alongside Ollie Behrman, and I think that's going to be either a masterclass or absolute disaster. Both drivers absolutely rapid and both fighting, or I think they're both going to be fighting for the championship. Both in the same team, 2016 Hamilton and Rosberg days. But I think he's going to take Logan Sargent's seat. Logan Sargent, he hasn't had the best season, has he, in 2023? Only scoring 1 point, and not even on merit. 2 people had to be disqualified for him to gain a point. He's crashing nearly as much as Latifi, and he's cost the team around $4 million in crash damage, which could have been used in development. So I think Antonelli is going to replace him for 2025. Mercedes, I don't think they're going to change their driver lineup. Hamilton, he really wants that 8th World Championship with Mercedes just to wrap everything up. I don't think he's going to leave until he does. And Russell, well, they've invested so much into Russell throughout his junior career, and he's doing all right. He had a couple podiums, and Singapore happened, but he could have won the race. But they're both good drivers, and there's no real reason to change them unless Hamilton hits 40 and still can't win a championship. Then maybe he might retire. The sister team of Red Bull, I think, is going to be called Racing Bulls, and I've gone with Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. But where's Perez? Well, we'll get to that later. Liam Lawson, I think he proved himself in 2023 in the minimal races he had. He was great, scoring a couple points where some drivers couldn't even score one. Nick de Vries. And Yuki Tsunoda, I think he's a safe set of hands at the moment. But I'm still torn if Yuki's still going to be in the sport. If he doesn't batter Ricciardo or even get close to Ricciardo, wouldn't it be better just to put another rookie in? Hopefully have a higher pace ceiling than Yuki has at the moment. But if he does well, I think he's going to retain the seat for a while. What we've all been waiting for, stake F1 team. I've gone with Porsche and Perez. In 2022, Porsche was so close to winning the F2 championship, but barely missed out on it. 2023 was his year. He won it. Being Sauber, Alfa Romeo, stake, reserve driver, I think 2025 is going to be his year. Bottas and Zhou were clearly struggling in the car throughout the season. It might have been the car, but it also might have been the drivers. Alfa Romeo struggling to get into the points nearly every race. When they had their chance in Hungary, it just all fell apart. And the reason I've put Perez into this team, I think he's going to try to go for the Audi seat. If Red Bull doesn't work out, Audi might be his best bet. And going to stake early with Audi taking over in 2026 might be a guaranteed race seat. So I think he's going to play that game. I don't see much changing with Alpine. I've gone with Gasly and Ocon. They're both good drivers. Scored a podium each in 2023, and Gasly scored the sprint podium. Is it called a podium? Sprint trophy? They had their minor hiccups in Silverstone, Australia, but looking past that, they were a safe set of hands. I don't see a real point of them being changed. Gasly's new to the team, and unless something catastrophical happens, like with Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren, I don't see him being changed out for another driver. And Esteban Ocon, he's always been good. I don't see him leaving. Now, Ferrari's the same. I don't think Leclerc or Sainz are going to want to leave. Sainz actually might want to leave. I know he's been offered a one-year contract, and he's not happy about it. So maybe that might cause him to rethink his decision to stay at Ferrari. But Leclerc, I don't think he's moving. He's Ferrari's golden child, just like Schumacher back in the day. But Leclerc can't win a championship. Or Ferrari can't provide him with a good car. One of the two, or maybe both of them. But I don't think Ferrari are going to want to give up Charles. And Charles won't want to leave unless they have a horrible car for the next couple years. Then maybe he might consider leaving. Maybe. But Sainz, we all know he has some ties with Audi, and maybe he might go for the seat. But for now, Ferrari are comfortable with him. He's a good driver. He won a race in 2023. Let's not forget that. But he's close enough to Charles that when Charles has a bad weekend, he can scrape up the points. But he's not as close to Charles that if they were fighting for a championship, he'd be that big of a problem. So I'm going to stick with this driver lineup. I think it's solid. And finally, the most popular team on the grid, McLaren. I've also gone with Norris and Piastri. They're not going to move, I don't think. With Norris's season in 2023 being absolutely insane, and Piastri's rookie season also being insane, McLaren won't want Piastri to leave after they've just dumped so much money into him, getting him over from Alpine and making him a McLaren driver. And Lando, arguably one of the best drivers on the grid. They won't want him to go. 2023 might have proven to Norris that, yes, McLaren can fight for wins and podiums, but can they fight for a championship? With a new wind tunnel and new staff being employed, which is important because they need new staff. Key staff, that is. McLaren's development is going to be through the roof. And can they produce a championship-winning car for Norris and maybe even Piastri? Can he close the gap to Lando? I'm going to stick with this driver lineup because I don't see it changing for a while. Let me know down in the comments your predictions for the 2025 season. Subscribe, like, and peace.